Let's rock. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday.
It is
And I'm
Friday.
taking a half day today, and I'm so excited.
I'm
Yay.
jealous. I want to take a half day.
Do
Maybe I
it.
will.
You're
Maybe I
your
will.
own boss. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll go take a walk. It's nice outside.
Yeah?
There's a lake over there. Right there.
Where?
Actually, it's over there.
Okay.
It's not in the studio here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll tweet out some pictures. So happy Friday. It's good to be back here with you. You've had some crazy stuff go on. You had power going out. You were moving. You had this. You had that.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
Chaos.
But above all, we have overcome.
Yes.
And here we are.
And speaking of overcoming, wow, what a segue. Today we're talking about International Women's Month. Isn't that right?
Women.
Yes. And some typical man titled this stream International Women's Day, trying to steal 29 of the 30 days of this month from you. But we'll fix that after the stream.
No.
Man.
I mean, geez, David.
We'll find out who did that and we'll take care of
Rude.
it. So
Yes.
I wanted to start with a quick story. Actually, I kind of want to rehab the conversation we had a few days ago. I was telling you about how you inspired me on my journey of becoming a good ally and a good person and you know, someone who's on the right side of the women's movement and everything. And
Weird.
what's so weird?
I don't know that I inspired you.
You really did. This is like a big thing. This was a big thing for me because you know, like I told you the other day, before I knew what the term virtue signaling or white knighting or mansplaining or any of those things were, I knew what they were and I didn't want to do them. And it was funny because when we were talking, I was like, you were like, I don't know what those terms are. I'm like, mansplaining is, and like 2 seconds into it, you're like, I know what that is.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize they actually had like legit names.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the look on your face, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I know what mansplaining is. It was like you were reliving it. Like this has happened to me so many times.
Fair enough, yes.
But yeah, I didn't, you know, this is going back like 8 to 10 years. And it was, the Me Too thing hadn't happened yet, but it was bubbling up. And in our industry, the women in our industry were really getting active. They were doing a lot of women's, you know, luncheons at the conferences, a lot of activity on Twitter. And I'm like, I want to help, but I don't want to be all man about it. You know, I want to help the right way. And it seems like there's a lot of wrong ways to help, coming in and being like, oh, there's a problem, women. Let me fix it for you. And then after I fix it for you, maybe we should have a coffee. You know, no, it's like, you know, I don't want to be like that. And I'm like, how do I help? And then I was watching this podcast. It was right after Infocom, and you were a guest on it. I'm like, oh, there's Kelly. I've worked with her a little bit. I know her. We were like new friends at the time. And the topic of booth babes came up, and you immediately looked so annoyed. And for those who don't know, because it's not as much of a thing anymore, there used to be, you go to these conferences, you go to Infocom and Enterprise Connect, and there would be women who didn't really work for these companies. They were hired just to do this. And they were like basically wearing bikinis and being like, oh, can I get your name so we can send you information? It was like a little weird and uncomfortable. And after every event, there'd be this big discussion about booth babes, and a bunch of guys would say, well, I think it's terrible. Aren't I a good guy? And it's like, oh, that doesn't help. And so this conversation was happening. They're going through and saying, what do you think about booth babes? What do you think about booth babes? And I'm listening. And then they asked you, and I was wondering what you were going to say. And I thought you were going to say what everyone else says, like, oh, it's terrible. They shouldn't do it. It's really degrading and da-da-da-da-da. And instead you said, and this stuck with me for so long because it's so brilliant. You're like, this conversation isn't helping. This conversation isn't helping. Every year we have this booth babe conversation so we can all feel good about ourselves, that we say the right things. If you want to help women, help women. There's these awesome women in our industry that are kicking butt. Let's talk about the great stuff they're doing. That's how you help women. I was like, oh, life changer. You know, and now I don't talk about how woke I am and how enlightened I am. I talk about Paige. You know, we were working with Paige and how amazing she is and how people should be working with her and giving her promotions and raises. You know, when I work with someone who's good, I make sure people know it, you know.
Totally.
So anyway, thank you for that.
It's just an annoying. It's a Yeah. I'm glad that people don't talk about it much anymore. But you're very much right.
It didn't help. And people were right to be. I don't want to bash on people who thought they were doing the right thing that by condemning something that was bad, but it's like, they weren't bad people, but it just wasn't the right approach.
Right.
So the right approach, as you taught me, is to talk about awesome women. So
Yes.
for this episode, we each picked a woman that we just are inspired by or think is super cool and groovy that we want to talk about. So do you want to go first with yours?
No, do yours because yours is so fun.
Mine? Okay. So I watch a lot of music streams on Twitch, and there's a lot of men, women, and gender fluid musicians. And by the way, that should be part of the discussion because part of, I think, respecting women and respecting people is there's a lot of people in my life now who are gender fluid, and a lot of people think it's okay to not be okay with that. You know what I mean? And we need to be okay with that because they're my friends. um,
People are people.
People are people, and if some people are more comfortable being called they than he or she, like, then I'm going to call them they. It's not, and people are like, oh, but they is plural. No, it's really not. Like, oh, look, someone dropped their wallet. I hope they find it. Maybe I should pick up their wallet and give it to the store clerk so the store clerk can give it to them. They, them, their. It's all singular person. So this isn't a big step for us. But anyway, for this, for today, I picked a woman who inspires me, and her Twitch name is Andy the Frenchie.
So good.
She's so good. She's so amazing. And by the way, I'm already feeling this tinge of guilt because there's 50, 100, 200 amazing other women streamers that are just as, and I guess we're gonna have to do one every week or something because I can't leave.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Highlight one every week because I David sent me the Twitch link to this gal and she is like so awesome.
She's so
She
awesome. But
can
there's
sing and
there's
she's
others who are just
hilarious.
as awesome that I don't want to leave out. I want to make it seem to the world like, okay, so there's this one good streamer on Twitch and that's it. It's if you're looking to be inspired by people in general. But anyway, let's talk about Andy. Let's talk about
Okay,
Andy.
yeah. Bring her up
I
because
love
she's
Andy.
like
Now,
yeah,
the,
she's like one of those people that's gonna make your day.
oh, she's gonna. But now I have a few clips of her, but I gotta say it's pretty funny. There's two Andy the Frenchies. Okay, there's the Andy if you happen to click on her stream when she's singing, your first impression will be this is a very serious person because she plays piano beautifully and by ear and just she just like anything off the top of her head. You start humming something, she starts playing along with it. She's obviously been practicing very serious hardcore practice for years and years and years. She plays other instruments, some wind instruments. I don't know what they're called. Her singing voice, no one sings like that without spending years and years practicing. She's so good. And you're like, wow, this is a very serious stream. But then as soon as she's done singing, she's the most ridiculous, hilarious, crazy.
So funny.
And she's always, this is a very serious stream. So I have clips of her, and they're all clips of her being Andy, not you have to go to her website to hear her sing. So let me bring up this first one. This is a clip. Okay. One thing she does is she's made a lot of she has a lot of alternate personalities. She's made these little clips of her in front of a green screen in all these costumes and stuff, and her viewers can bring them up by saying something in chat. Twitch is very interactive for those who are new at Twitch. But if someone types
full screen though, right?
Yeah, let's make her big. So if someone types a certain command in the chat while she's live, and this is a clip from her live stream, one of her little
You should audition for the next Final Fantasy. You're already one for me.
Amazing.
I love it!
So she made a bunch of those, and anytime
Argument for summoning Stefan.
that's Stefan. Stefan is her pickup guy, and he has a bunch of different pickup lines. Let me go to. This was her original Twitch trailer when I first came upon her channel. Before she would go live, this would play, and this gives a good impression of what her stream's about.
Andy the Frenchie, and welcome on the No Nonsense stream. I am a singer-songwriter
Songwriter coming from the mystical lands of French Canada, and my sole purpose in the world is to end all nonsense. I'm losing all my hair! English is hard! Bye! If you're looking for bad puns, laughs, awkwardness, this is not the stream for you. But if you're here just to relax before going to bed, sit back and enjoy the ride. Pro streamer here! This is serious! You'll find here a loving community. You're the worst! You're trolls! Dedicated mods. You're my slaves, basically. Modern dance? Art? Pro guitar playing? Nope. Feet? There are even love stories. As long as I'm here, everything will stay exclamation point serious. This is not the moment to host!
Very,
My
very
name
serious.
is Andy the Frenchie, and welcome on the No
Very serious streamer. Let me see. Oh, one more. This is a feel good thing. She did a fundraising stream. She's got a lot of friends in the community. She does a lot of collab streams. There's another streamer. His name is Matt Gaddy. I love this guy. He's got to be one of the top 5 bassists on Twitch. His bass skills. There's a lot of people playing guitar and bass on Twitch,
It's
but
International Women's Month, David.
oh, you're right. Well, the only reason he's relevant
Stay
is
focused.
because it's an Andy story. Andy does a lot of
Oh.
collabs with him because back to Andy. Okay, so but in this thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for woman-splaining that to me. In this one, she's doing a fundraiser for a friend who needed brain surgery, and she would put on another onesie every time someone donated. They made so much money, and it was so heartwarming.
Look at that. Just behind me. Isn't that majestic? This is everything you can make me wear today. Oh my freaking gosh! This is a $500. This is so worth it. It's a good thing we are winter now. Okay. Probably should have finished with the Spyro. She's slowly transforming into Totoro. Okay.
Now remember, she has characters that she summons.
I need to survive the end of this stream. I can't. Stop that music right now, and it's time to exercise.
This is one of her pop-ups. When this
4,
pop-ups, she has to do the exercises.
More! Shut that! I can't stretch! Stretch more!
I love that Chantel character she has. That physical fitness. It's her, obviously, but she does this deep voice and she goes, "You need to do push-ups. You need to do sit-ups," and she does them on stream. She's got so much going on. She's so hilarious and so talented.
Yes, so we should put the link to her in
Yes. Let me
the
get.
YouTube thingy.
That's a great idea. Let's see. I'm going to put the link to her
To her.
Twitter and the link to her Twitch channel.
Yes, please.
That work? I hope that worked.
I don't know. I can't watch the YouTube thing and do this at the same time. I get super confused.
Oh, the little bit of a delay.
I'm a very bad multitasker.
I can relate.
Or ADHD, perhaps.
I can
Okay,
relate.
well, that's Andy, and she's
That's
awesome.
Andy. Check her out. She's wonderful and so talented.
Yeah, it's like not only is she like super funny and ridiculous, but she's also like an amazing singer and musician and awesome. So
Yeah, when you guys check her out and you watch her stream and she starts singing, you're going to be like, why didn't David show us a clip of her singing? Oh my God. But I'll leave that as a treat for you to discover yourself.
all right, so
So-
my turn. It's my turn now, David. So I was watching like some movie this week because that's kind of all I do now is watch movies because it's a pandemic and stuff, and I don't even remember what it was, so sorry, bad story. But I started looking up like who was involved in the movie, and it may have been, I don't remember. Anyways, so I started looking it up, and this woman named Kathleen Kathleen Kennedy came up, and I was like, okay, sounds familiar. Like, is she a Kennedy? I don't know, whatever. But then I look at the movies that she's produced or executive produced, and I asked David before this podcast. I said, "Do you have any idea who this person is?" He's like, "Oh, maybe you've heard of her." Well, guess what, guys? You're going to be blown away because she was the producer or executive producer of all of these movies plus more. E.T., Gremlins, Young Sherlock Holmes, Back to the Future, The Goonies, Batteries Not Included, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jurassic Park, Twister, Seabiscuit, The Sixth Sense. All of these amazing movies. Oh, wait, I forgot. Star Wars. Like, and does anybody ever talk about her? No, they talk about Steven Spielberg. They talk about George Lucas and all these other dudes. But like, how freaking cool is that? Like, amazing. So
Think we can
that's
get
the
her on the
person I
show?
wanted to like bring. Yeah, maybe. I don't know because I think she's like the president of Lucasfilms right now. So it might be kind of hard. It might be out of our range. No, yeah, Lucasfilm. So I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was really cool and like to know that there's a woman behind like pretty much all my favorite movies was really neat to hear and see. So check her out, Kathleen Kennedy.
Especially since some of those movies are were traditionally considered boy movies, like Star Wars and the dinosaur movies and stuff like that.
I almost fell out of my chair when they said Joe versus the volcano because I mean that's like a film masterpiece with Meg Ryan playing like 4 different characters. So
That's amazing.
that's my woman of the month. I'm gonna throw her out there.
That's how we're going to start spreading the word.
Start spreading the word.
Right on. So, is that it for this episode? Should we go on to our final thoughts? Keep this one quick and clean, or was there anything else? Did I forget anything?
No, I think that's it. I think today's nice and short, and we just call it a day. And I got to get moving because I took a half day today.
Yay!
Thanks for joining us, people.
I have a couple more meetings. Okay, so I'm going to go to our final thoughts.
Final thought of the day. We're giving it to David today. The man. He's mansplaining.
Yeah, I'm going to mansplain. Yeah, I guess my final thoughts is it's really, this is usually a time when Kelly or I'll say, here's something for you to take with you. Here's something, give you something substantial. But it's that I don't have all the answers. I don't have something substantial. I don't, I know something's not right. I'm in so many Twitter feeds with so many women, and every day, and I tell Kelly some of these stories. She's like, ew, but this stuff is happening all the time, and I think what I'm learning is there's a lot more to being a good guy than not being a bad guy. The early part of the journey is, well, I'm not going to do that stuff. That's not enough. But we also can't come in and fix the problem ourselves. It's really hard. It's really hard to be a good ally. And I think my final thought is that I don't have the answers, and I'm listening. I'm listening to women, and I'm trying to learn. So hopefully this is something that we'll continue to all kind of get better at. Is that good, Kelly? I want Kelly's approval on that.
That's perfect.
Thank you so much. All right, with that, so good to be back. We're going to be back again next week, I think the same time.
Yes, I like 10 a.m. Well,
Awesome.
10 a.m. my time.
And I don't know what our topic's going to be, but we're going to definitely be highlighting at least one woman for the next several episodes because we got a list. And with that, thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone.